The Five of Swords. I think it's on record now that this is my least favorite card of the deck. So it's a week full of perhaps negative energy, trying to outdo the other person or smearing someone's name or reputation. It's a win at all costs where the goal may be to embarrass or humiliate someone. There's insensitivity motivated by some kind of selfishness or destructive behavior, someone out for revenge or some kind of betrayal. It's a week where there's extreme self-interest. And perhaps, there's some kind of power play. Someone's pride could be wounded. And the tendency to resort to underhanded, illicit, or criminal tactics. So, it's a week where there could be manipulation of others. And so this is a card that says you have to be careful about limitation. Beware of overstepping your boundaries. Now, the good thing is that this can be a week where your frustration with matters encourages you to do something that you should have done a long time ago. Some steps that you should have taken, you're now frustrated with matters as they are, and you've decided perhaps to take matters in hand, take charge of a situation. But being impatient or intolerant or arrogant or overconfident can push you to take some risks that are rather foolish or unnecessary. Again, maybe you're putting aside your hesitancy, your doubts about something. Maybe something has been bothering you and you want to go ahead and clear the air. You want to put something out on the table, or you want to move forward in something that you had some doubts about, something you were worrying about. And taking some kind of step, some kind of action is going to provide you some peace of mind. It really doesn't matter whether the answer is a positive or a negative. It's just the peace of mind of knowing that something is out in the open, that you're clearing the air and you feel some kind of relief. And what you may find is that, you haven't been taking something perhaps seriously enough. Maybe you've been taking too many things for granted, whether it's situations that needed to be addressed or your relationships, yourself, your health. And if that's the case, you're now at this critical mass juncture where somebody's going to wound your pride. They're going to, puncture that balloon of yours. Or, somebody's going to have a smart response that kind of smacks a little bit. So you could get your pride wounded. So it's a week where you need to be careful about taking risks with your safety. Be careful of any kind of medication you might be taking. You might get some kind of side effect, or maybe you're dealing with some kind of illness that's hard to diagnose. And it's a week where, you may not be paying attention. When this card shows up, it's likely that there's some kind of error or mistake or cloudy judgment, and it could be something minor where maybe you lock yourself out of the house, or you lock yourself out of the car, or you lose something important, or you misplace a document from not paying attention, being distracted. So there could be some misunderstandings, accidents, or something unfortunate that occurs. Now, this is Venus in Aquarius. For some of you, there's a relationship with an Aquarius that's important. And it's a card where, again, that self-motivation. Somebody may not want to listen to anything, regardless of what kind of advice there is. You see the two figures going off in defeat. Maybe they've been humiliated, or they just don't want to deal with that negative energy. So it's a week where you could lose face, you could be a loser, you may be dealing with people who are troublemakers or malicious or bulliers. In the positive, maybe you're coming up with a strategy to deal with negative situations, or maybe there's been some hostility between you and another person, or something that just hasn't been right between you. And it's a week where perhaps you decide to clear that up, to, put who you are out there and receive in kind. And for some of you, that means that a fire sign person is in focus. They may be an Aries, a Leo, a Sagittarius, and it could be their sun, their moon, or their rising sign. This is someone who has dynamic energy. Maybe she's a successful entrepreneur, or she's very determined. It's someone who has the power to influence other people, and someone who is very sure of themselves. This person pursues their own interests. They're passionate. They claim their sexuality, their sensuality. They're comfortable in their own skin. So this is someone who may be very mature. They have strong powers of attraction. They know how to self-promote. And they also are very protective of those they care about. Their interests, their passions, and the people that are close to them. They're fiercely protective and fiercely determined. And because this is fire, this is something that burns. It's based on ambition. And so this person is not afraid of competition. Now, that may be important given the overarching card, that Five of Swords, that no-win situation. And maybe, this Queen is someone formidable. Maybe there's competition and she's like, bring it on. I'm not afraid. And so someone may step over boundaries. And this is a Queen who surely can put someone in their place. Now, maybe it's this Queen who has negative energy. Maybe she fails to listen to others. In the positive, you're taking on the Queen of Wands characteristic by having good judgment, judging other people, what their potential is, what their motivation is, what their intention may be, their character, so that you can steer matters and opinions toward your favor. This is a card that very much so says there's something that you want, and you want to turn the tide toward your best interests. And so you may receive the support of others. Others may be very cooperative with you, specifically because you're so magnetic or so charming or so captivating. And part of that is positive energy that you may be putting out to overcome negative situations. You're setting an example of who to be, how to be. And so this is excellent for you to step out there and introduce yourself to people who have the power to further your interests. And so you may find yourself in some kind of negotiation, or maybe you're calling a successful truce between opposing parties, whether that's at work, at home, or both. So you may be using your skills, to stoke a fire or put one out. This does say, though, that there's an increased desire for you to be noticed and appreciated. Now, maybe you're dealing with somebody who's not paying attention to you. They don't want to, they're not listening to you. And you feel very strongly about being seen, being heard. And so, you're putting yourself out there in ways that may enhance your powers of attraction, whether that is social, business, or romantic. And it's likely that this is a day that you will attract a wide variety of interests from various sectors, from people who have the same goals, or they have personalities that complement yours, or stimulate your need for change, adventure, and excitement. Now, if the Queen is operating in her shadow, maybe she's being very unyielding. She's being temperamental, throwing a tantrum. Maybe she's bitter, or she could be unfaithful, or she's interfering in the affairs of others. She very well could be representative of that Five of Swords. Maybe she's a poor listener, or she's a busybody and she's creating havoc. Maybe she's trying to impose her ideas or her values on other people. Negatively, maybe, you attract people who inspire your imagination, but these are the same people that also bring problems into your life. it could be a day where you're just not feeling all that positive yourself. And so you're not appealing, or you're not appearing charming, or you're trying to appear so and failing, to do so. Maybe you have a lot of anxiety, or you're irritable, you're not in a good mood, and it shows. So for some of you, this could be a day where you start trouble between other people. Maybe you're not even aware of it. Maybe you make a careless or casual remark that gets that fire going. Or because this is a queen who very much so wants to be at the center of everything, you may find that you're starting to make a nuisance of yourself or someone close to you. Maybe you alienate someone that you're interested in, or you rub your friends the wrong way. And it's specifically because you've got to be the center. Have you ever had conversations with people where you want to share, you want to tell them something, and they have a one-up story? Every time you say something, they've got another story to match it, to best what you're saying. Maybe your emotions, this is a very passionate queen. Maybe your emotions get in the way. And maybe it's emotions and pride that blocks her objectivity and causes some kind of chaos. So you may have a lot of charisma and you're attracting a lot, but you want to be sure that you're not attracting the wrong element. That need for excitement gives into your penchant for risk-taking or speculation or extremism. So overall, you're trying to steer matters your way.